Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to Morning Coffee Talks. Cheers. My good friend Thomas asked me to talk about anger, so that's what we're going to do today. Right? We're going to talk about anger. So, first, we'll go over the definition of anger. Anger is a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. That's what it means to be angry. Why do people get angry? Most of the time, almost all the time, people change their feelings of pain into anger, right? Because it's easier and it feels better to be angry than it does to be in pain, right? Pretty simple. Pretty simple. The frustration is often experienced when you're feeling helpless and out of control. So, you know, if you're feeling helpless or out of control, most of the time you're going to turn to anger. And what does that do? That leads to your freedom being squashed. You feel like your space has been invaded, or you feel like your feelings have been ignored. That's why most of the time people get angry, right? You can change all that if you put in some effort and put in some work, right? Because in the Bible it says, be angry but do not sin. So we're going to get into that. Be angry but do not sin. Anger gives the devil a foothold. It's harmful to you and it's harmful to others, right? So we need to think about that when we're angry. Why we're angry, who we're angry at, what's the pain behind that, right? That's what I suggest. Now, there's a couple of appropriate responses to anger. What are those appropriate responses? When the truth is being suppressed. So when people aren't being truthful and they're not being honest, they're hiding parts of it, it's okay to get a little angry with that, right? Immoral living. People aren't doing what's right, you know what I mean? When they're not being a good person, that sort of thing. And the third one is rejecting God's will. That's the third time it's okay to be angry, okay? But anger itself is not a sin. So it's not a sin to be angry, right? It's just a strong emotion. We all have that emotion. We all have anger. We all get angry. Nobody's perfect, we all have anger in us. But it can lead to sin really quick if it's unrestrained. So that's the goal, right? We got to let it go. God told Cain in the Bible, okay, we're going to the Bible a little bit now, that anger is desired for you, right? But you must roll over it. You got to let that go. When you feel that anger building up in you, you got to let it go. Release it. Figure out why you're being angry and let it go, man. Because it'll eat at you. You're going to hurt others. You're going to hurt yourself. And that's not okay. That's when it turns to a sin. Right? So it's okay to be angry. That's what it comes down to. We all have it in us, right? We all have certain things that we see the way the world should be, and when it doesn't work out that way, we get angry. I get angry, all the time too. And I tell myself, this is what I do. This is what I tell myself. This is why I try to train myself. Anytime I get angry, I tell myself in my head, let it go, Dennis. Let it go. Let that shit go, right? Let it go, man. It ain't worth it. Don't hold on to it. That's how I try to do it. In meditation, when my thoughts come in my head, try to let them go. That's when we meditate. That's what I do. When a thought pops in my head, let that go. Let it go down the creek. Let it go over the rocks and away. Let it go. That's what I think about, like a leaf floating down the river and it gets caught up on a rock. That's my anger. That's whatever is holding me back for whatever. And I see it and I say, let that go. Just let it go, man. It's going to go on down the creek and say goodbye to it, right? That's what I do anyway. That's what helps me. And it doesn't work all the time. I ain't perfect, right? That leads into how we react. Because that's really the only power you have in this world, is how you react to a situation, right? And sometimes you have an initial reaction. A lot of times we have that initial reaction where it's just like instantaneous, right? Like you get mad, but you got to pull that back in real quick. That's the goal, right? That initial reaction, sometimes we can't control that too well. I believe anyway, right? So that's the goal, is to let it go. Let that anger go. Like I said, it's okay to be angry. Anger sometimes fuels you, you know what I mean? To do things. If you get angry, you see something that's not right, hey, I'm going to make a change that makes me mad, that pisses me off. So I'm going to do something about it, right? something good about it, not something bad. You don't want to hurt people, and stuff like that. But sometimes anger can help bring changes. I'm angry at myself for not keeping my word, or not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, not doing God's will, if you will. You know what I mean? So anger can motivate you sometimes to get things done, to make shit happen, right? But most of the time, anger comes from, like I said, pain. Whatever pain you're feeling. And it turns to anger because, again, anger feels better than pain. Nobody wants to be in pain, right? So the goal is just let it go, guys. We got to let that anger go. We all get angry. People always on the internet say, why are you so angry? Like they've never been angry before in their life. We know why they're angry. You said something or did something to make them mad, right? People do it to me all the time, but most of the time we just got to go past it, man. Like people, like that's another thing, expectations that lead to anger. When you expect something to happen and it doesn't, then we get pissed off about it, right? I know I throughout my life, I had these expectations of I don't know what, fairy tales, that I deserve things, right? And when those things didn't happen, I'm angry, I'm mad, and everybody else around me is feeling it. And guess what? Now they're all upset. So that's what anger does. So it can be good and it can be bad. But we got to be up here. We got to realize, all right, what are we doing, right? We got to be aware of what's going on around us and why we're feeling the way we feel. You know what I mean? Like I try to say on here sometimes, like take a step back from yourself and watch yourself. How do you say it? Like outside yourself, like you're watching you. You see what I'm saying? Like I is watching me, right? So when you feel that, feel it through your body and like take a step back and just listen, witness it. Be the witness, right? You're the one that's feeling it. Nobody else can tell until you like portray that out upon them. You know what I mean? So when you start feeling that, be aware. Think to yourself, why am I feeling this way? You know what I mean? And things like that. That's just my take on anger. So let me know what you guys think about that. I appreciate you, Thomas, for asking me to bring this up in the morning coffee talks. Anything you guys got that you want me to bring up, I appreciate it all. Gives me something to look up and study a little bit and pass on some knowledge to you guys. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this morning's coffee talk. Cheers. Happy Saturday. Love you all. As always, go get you some, baby.